let's talk about Audrey a little bit, because you know, you guys had a pretty big scare sometime in 2015, right? This is when you withdrew from the Masters, was that
Yeah,
that time?
yeah, it's 9 years ago. Yeah, it is.
So it's sepsis, and I know since then she's obviously now healthy and doing really great. And you guys have started a foundation called, was it Begin Again or
Begin Again Foundation.
Begin
Yeah,
Again Foundation? Yeah,
yeah.
and you guys are doing some amazing stuff for it. Just talk us through kind of how difficult, obviously, it was during that time. I mean, I kind of saw on the page that you had your kids do voice messages for her, and it must have been such a just such a difficult time to go through.
Yeah, she was like perfectly healthy, and then within about well, 4 days, looked like she was not going to make it. So yeah, we had some difficult conversations with doctors and that sort of thing. Them giving us pretty bad news, saying she probably wasn't going to make it, and we had to try a few things to try and help her, but that she probably still won't make it. It'll be just her best chance of making it. So of course, you're going to go ahead and do that. But yeah, there was a few moments throughout the whole hospital stay. I remember when they put her into the coma, the first day that she was in it, she was actually, her eyes were open and she was texting me, like to communicate, because she couldn't talk. She had the tube down her throat and she was sedated and all that. And that was after I'd had the meeting with the doctor that gave us the bad news, and I go back into the hospital room and she's like, "Am I going to be okay?" And I had to blatantly lie to her. I'm like, "Yes, you're going to be fine, but you're going to have to really fight." Like, because of course I'm not going to tell her that no, you're actually stuffed. You're probably, you know, you're probably going to die. So yeah, there was some pretty hard moments, and then like you said about the videos from the kids, my boys were, I
Like
think
Harvey
about a
was
year.
3,
Yeah, I
right?
reckon 3. Yeah, 3
2 months or
and
something.
then about that. So when she was in the coma, the doctors were saying like, I've heard that a lot of my patients say they can hear what we're saying. So I was playing music to her, and um, yeah, got the kids to do videos so she could hear their voices, and it was pretty weird. Some difficult phone calls to friends and family and all that. But in the end, we were very lucky because obviously she survived it, and then and she's created, or we've created, but mostly her, the foundation where we've helped thousands of families, given away I think over $2 million to families who really need it, and a lot of good has come out of it. So we like to think that it happened to her because she could survive it, and she was strong enough to do that, and she had the will and the background to actually do some good things with it. So yeah, as difficult as it was, and she's lost her memory and everything. A lot of her memory is not great, but still, yeah, a lot of good has come out of it, and it's really given her a purpose to her life. After I did get on to her in 2000, or after we got married in 2010, she quit her job so she could travel more, and she was pretty lost for a while, just not really knowing what to do with herself, and this really gave her a purpose. So I'd like to think that a lot more positives came out of it than than hardships, I guess.
You
Yeah.
went through absolute hell. I mean, that describing that just, I mean, we've all had, as you progress through life, you always have those health scares, or your loved ones have health scares, but not many people have been through something like that with the person you love the most cherished in your life,
Yeah.
absent your kids. What did you learn about yourself through that process?
It's a pretty weird feeling. You do realize how strong you are, what you can go through, how long you can go without sleeping, or eating. But I guess you just you learn how fragile life is, and it gives you a really good perspective on what really matters. Obviously, as a parent, you hope that your kids outlive you, And of course, when your parents pass, or, you know, whether it's before you or whenever that is, that's a devastating time and all that. But something that, you know, you think will probably happen before you go. Anyway, if you know, Audrey was to pass, it was really going to change my life, like massively. Like, you know, I was thinking when they told me the bad news, that I'm thinking, what am I going to do? Like, I've just had to withdraw from the Masters, which was fine. That was not, you know, that was the least of my worries at that time. And then I'm thinking, well, if she doesn't make it, what do I do? Do I stay in America, or do I was ready to pack up with the kids and go back to Australia and just be a dad, full-time dad. You know, whether that was going to be forever or until I got back on my feet or whatever it was, I was thinking too far ahead. But yeah, your brain just races. And I'll tell you what, the best night's sleep I've ever had was that first night after we got told that she was going to be all right and woke up from the coma. So, you know, I didn't sleep for probably 6 or 7 days. I couldn't eat. I remember trying to eat I had a bite of a grilled cheese sandwich. I couldn't even swallow it. I was struggling, just making really dumb mistakes. Like I'd, you know, try and back out of a car park and knew I was going to hit this car or a pole. It was a pole, and I just ran straight into it. Didn't even really react. It was like, oh, my rear vision mirror just smashed off on the ground. Oh, well, let's go. So it was,
Yeah, I guess
you
at
just
that point you're just like delirious, right? Just-
yeah, sleep deprivation is a form of torture.
First of all, Audrey is an absolute trooper. I mean, to fight and to get through it, and then to be on the other side doing what she's doing now to help other people is amazing, and just so admirable and so inspiring, really. But also what you did to support her, as well as your kids at the time who were so young, and that they're still so young, but at the time you probably got to be looking, oh my gosh, I've Harvey who's 3 and Ollie who's 18 months, and you're like, what do I do? You know? And so for you to go into that mode of making sure you're there for your kids as well as her, it's tough, you know, and I'm just, like you said, it's awesome that you guys are on the other side now and you can see
Yeah,
all the
exactly.
positives, I guess, that came out of it. For everyone who's kind of listening, could you just maybe give us a quick definition, or what is sepsis? Just so people who are listening could be aware of it. Maybe their loved ones might be going through it. What is it?
So sepsis is your body's overwhelming reaction to fighting an infection. So if you cut your finger, you know, it starts to go red around it and gets like pussy and all that. Well, your body fights that infection and takes it away. So say SEAL Team 6 goes out to fight that infection, that cut on your arm or whatever it is. Well, instead of SEAL Team 6 going out to fight the infection and kill that infection, the entire US military goes out and kills everything. So it basically turns your blood toxic and basically shuts down all your organs. So people think that they've got the flu. You know, you get sort of pale and clammy skin and racing heart. But a lot of people that have it don't know they've got it, and they'll go to bed and then just not wake up the next morning. So Audrey wanted to go to bed and just sleep it off, and her best friend made her go to the doctor, and they put her straight in and, you know, basically saved her life. So yeah, it's, you know, you can get it from any infection. So men and women can get it. Audrey got hers from a tampon, from the chemicals in the tampon got inside her body and got it that way. So toxic shock syndrome can lead to sepsis a lot. Obviously, sepsis is really bad. I think it kills about 300,000 Americans every year. And then that led to acute respiratory distress syndrome, ARDS, which is, so pneumonia is a spot of fluid on the bottom of or anywhere in your lungs, but normally on the bottom of your lungs. ARDS is when your both lungs are full of fluid. So she had what was called a whiteout. So when you know, your lungs are normally black on an X-ray, hers were white because of all the fluid. So it was long answer, but it's pretty severe. But if you suspect you've got it, it's very treatable especially if you catch it early. So that's what we do a lot with our foundation is awareness, like getting out the symptoms, because if you do know the symptoms, good chance you're going to catch it. It's just some antibiotics, and normally you're good to go. Audrey's actually had it
Yeah.
since, but she caught it early. She had it probably, I think it was about a year after she got it the first time, and treated it and good to go. Wasn't even a hospital stay.
Thanks for sharing all that, by the way.
No
I didn't
worries.
mean to bring this podcast to a place, but I just thought it would be kind of, it's just such a big part of what you went through and your family went through. And, and as you said, now you guys are doing amazing things for it. And I just wanted you to kind of share that. And so that whoever's listening in, who might maybe be in the same shoes or might be experiencing the same sort of situation, be able to kind of relate. And
Awareness
yeah,
saves
awareness.
lives.
Yes.
Saves
a lot of
lives.
lives, a lot
Yeah.
of
A lot of
lives.
lives.
So
Whether
and
it's
now
sepsis
begin-
or anything. Yes.
yeah, now Begin Again, you guys are also not just raising money, but you are also providing support, right, for families and people who are going through it.
Yeah, all sorts of things to families, and then we do, support the local children or the children's hospitals around the world. We haven't told anyone, but we've been doing a program where at all the Live Tour stops, where we provide safe sanitary products to like homeless ladies. So we're doing that I think we've done it at most of the stops last year and this year. Audrey knows a lot more about that than I do, but we're trying to sort of expand, which is nice. We've sort of Liv's been we can give more now because we're making more money. Yeah, so it's a win-win.